Dessie.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm in my hotel right now.
Okay. What city you in?
I'm in Dallas.
Oh,
Friday, I go home to St. Louis to get my daughter and spend some time with family.
okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you being on the show today. I know we were going back and forth trying to figure out if it was, if it made sense, if it did make sense, what it is.
Right.
But I did want you on because, uh, despite the protests and the blackout and everything else with the murders that's going on, even beyond that, we're still having a situation with COVID, and so me and you have been kind of going back and forth for a while. And I didn't, want to interrupt you actually working and doing what you need to do on the front
Hmm.
line to get on. So I wanted you to explain to the viewers who you are and what you do and where you've been. So,
Righty. Hello, everybody. My name is Raven. I'm a nurse. I currently live in Dallas, Texas. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, but I was just deployed in New York for the pandemic relief team for COVID-19, and I was there for 7 weeks. I'm quarantining in my hotel now in Dallas, and it'll be 2 weeks on Friday. So I'll go get my daughter, who I've been away from for 8 weeks now, 2 months. I left March 31st. And I was working with crucial staffing. They deployed a lot of nurses because it was so overwhelming in New York, and they were so short-staffed. A lot of nurses got sick. A lot of nurses were scared to work, so they took PTO,
mhm.
because it was just so crazy in the beginning. Things are slower now, but it is still a problem. The virus is still alive. It's still affecting people. People were dying left and right. Like I said before in previous posts, I've never seen anything like it. It was scary. My first week, we were running out of PPE, personal protective equipment, and
Yeah,
I had sent, I asked Instagram, and it's friends, family, some people I didn't even know. They donated so many supplies, and I just was so grateful and thankful for that. And so were the other nurses, because it was scary. You don't know what you were dealing with. And nurses who were deployed with crucial, they got sick and they were stuck in hotel rooms. You
yeah,
shouldn't see this, and it doesn't discriminate against black, white, or whatever. And now, trying to get my mind right after in quarantine, trying
hmm
to adjust being here in the city. My first night I got back, I went to pick up food, and I was sitting in my car, and I got so angry, and I was crying. I was mad. I couldn't believe how many ignorant folks were out, no mask, no social distancing, after what I just been dealing with for the past 2 months. To see that, it was just saddening and
yeah,
heartbreaking. And then trying to deal with that mentally, here you got all this other stuff.
yeah. And with that, with seeing it firsthand, and New York and is so much different because everyone that I spoke to that either were in New York or had family directly in New York, it was totally different how they were social distancing versus like people in Texas or Georgia or Florida. Um,
Hmm.
so can you kind of talk about that side of it as well?
Oh yeah, in New York, the streets were pretty much clear. Like, only people I saw was pretty much people going to work with masks on, or homeless people. It was a lot of homeless people, and that was really scary. But even the homeless people had sense enough to have masks on. And
Yeah,
it's still pretty. I don't know about now, but when I left, it was like 60s. So to get here in Dallas, it's hot as hell in Dallas. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So much we do not know about this virus. They say it can't live past certain temperatures, but it's hot as hell in Dallas. And to think about how it was in New York, it was cold. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So it's like, you don't know what you don't know. We're still trying to figure out things, but New York, they didn't play. They social distancing. They had on masks, and to come here, it's like, do y'all think this is a game? I mean, I know the media. I don't believe everything I see in the media, but to see it firsthand, and I tried to share with people what I could,
Yeah.
what I'm actually seeing with my eyes, to be transparent with you guys, and then to see people in Dallas just not caring. It was just
Yeah.
sad, so sad.
Yeah, and with the different types of masks that people wear, like what's the best one? Because I know like when nurses are y'all on the front line, so y'all have like several masks, y'all have goggles, y'all have a lot more going on. Y'all have the gloves. So what are you kind of suggesting, like for the average person that doesn't really have access to quite all of that PPE?
For the average person, a surgical mask, a plain surgical mask like this is what I wear inside of my hotel room around people just going out and about, walking the streets. But
Hmm.
in the hospitals, you want to wear N95 or a respirator. The N95 at one point made me too short of breath, and I was having trouble breathing because you're
Hmm.
taking in your CO2, and high levels of CO2 can cause you to pass out. I was getting headaches a lot. With the respirator, it's more scary looking, but it's so much easier to breathe, and you're breathing in cool air.
Yeah.
But just walking on the street for regular people, just plain surgical mask will do.
Yeah. Then what about because there's some that have what the filters that you can kind of take in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen those. Those will make it easier for you to breathe as well. I would say for more polluted areas, for people protesting, you don't know what you're going to get into with whether they tear gas or whatever they're throwing out there. Mask with filters will help more.
Okay, and then what about the fashionable ones? Because now people are selling the
The
cloth.
fashion that they're just like this. It's just cloth. You know what I'm saying? The
Oh,
the fashionable ones are same as the surgical. They're
okay, yeah.
cute. They're cute. I wish I had some fashionable ones.
Okay, look, we'll have to get you some of them. You let me know which one you're trying to get that got the fashion. Because since you was on the front line, I got
I'm good. I look. I got plenty of these. I'm just trying to be safe, but get being cute.
you. Yeah. So, um, but yeah. So are you always traveling as a nurse, or do you take different assignments, or what was your?
So I was traveling. When I started nursing, I wanted to get into travel nursing, but I have a 3-year-old daughter and I have a husband, so I just travel locally around Dallas. So I was going to different HCAs. Those are the medical cities. I would go between Plano, Louisville, Las Colinas, sometimes McKinney, but never really outside of Dallas because I don't want to leave my family for
Okay.
months at a time. But so New York was actually my first travel assignment.
Yeah.
It was a wake up. It was a wake up call because New York is just different. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, because being from the Midwest and then being in the South, like even the way people treat you, like in New York, like people are just about themselves and it ain't no high, really
It's
no smile.
cold. It's
Yeah,
cold. It was a wake up call. I said I didn't have, and I don't need help, but it's always appreciated. I didn't have one man lift a finger for me until I got to the on my way home.
oh,
I was on my way out. Like people would see me. Even they made me switch hotels a week before I left, and I had so many donations. So I'm transferring everything from Staybridge to the New Yorker. And
yeah,
if people see me with my cart, stuff about to fall off, they just say stuff, that's about to fall. They didn't help. I mean, it's they
yeah,
don't care. Everybody's for themselves.
yeah. And and then I normally say New York is so fast paced, but everybody was forced to slow down, so I know that part of it was quite different. But New York is just so compact versus like in Texas where things are so far apart and things like.
Right.
Yeah. So with the hotels and everything where they had y'all staying, like, how was that part? Because I saw a couple of times that people were delivering food and different things like that, but for the most part, it was just like only y'all versus what I guess when it's time to eat.
Yeah. The whole at the New Yorker they would provide food sometimes. So when you went downstairs, there was a table. World Health was the name of the company. But when people would deliver food, my experience, I had to meet them outside. They didn't even want to come in, or
Yeah.
they would come right into the front door, and you would have to meet them there. They weren't allowed. You couldn't go towards the elevators. They're asking to see your key cards.
Yeah.
It was very supervised.
Hmm. And so how was the experience being away from your loved ones for so long? Because like you said, because I didn't even think about that part. Like I knew when you came home a couple of weeks ago, we had been in communication a little bit, but just to think like you still had to quarantine 2 more weeks before. So how was that like just being away?
It was really hard. On top of getting your butt kicked at work, you dealing with people all walks of life, from all over the world who you working with, and you don't know. and mentally you so screwed up from seeing. I'm not an ICU nurse. I'm a med surg / telemetry nurse. So I don't see patients dying all the time. In ICU, you see patients intubated all the time. My heart's not built for that.
Yeah.
I could never work ICU. So salute to the ER and ICU nurses. My third night, I was thrown in the ER. A
Yeah.
50-bed ER had 150 patients in it.
Oh wow.
Okay, so it wasn't even beds for them. It was beds in the hallways. It was patients in chairs, people looking like they're dead. So just imagine yourself going into the ER to get help. You're scared as shit because people around you look like they're dead. People are just saying, I need air. They like, help me, I can't breathe. Like, it was something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like, the room was literally spinning around me. I couldn't wait to get off. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just wanted to scream. But I had on, and on top of that, you got on all this equipment.
Yeah.
It's hot as hell.
Yeah.
You know, I had to control my breathing because it's so overwhelming, and its anxiety was at a high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
So it was a lot.
yeah, and with that, like with everything that you were working on, like what was your role? I know you said that they had you in a different role that you normally do. So what were you there to do kind of specifically?
When I was in the ER that one night, I'm good at IVs, so I was um, drawing blood and starting IVs for new patients who were coming in.
Yeah.
So I was a task nurse. So, if somebody needed water, or, a nurse would tell me to get blood or start an IV for this new patient. But on top of that, you can't ignore the screams. You can't ignore somebody reaching out to you asking for help,
Okay.
saying I need oxygen and I can't breathe. You
Yeah.
know, I never went back to the ER. I never.
I would imagine. And then with the respirators, like how was that even like set up? Because I heard about one guy who had a heart condition and he needed a respirator for that, but they ended up saying he had COVID, so he could get one a little bit faster. Like it was kind of weird.
You
Uh,
talking about ventilator?
Ventilator. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
saying
Okay. No, okay. Yeah, the ventilators.
because I know they
There's
were
a,
in so
huh?
many. They were running low in so many places.
They were, and they would pick and choose who they wanted to put on ventilators. From what I saw, um, the doctor, because you call a code when you see something going bad, you yell out, you code, you start compressions, you wait till the doctors get there. One of the first questions, oh, are they a full code, or are they a DNR? Then they say, how old are they? Do they
Yeah.
have any comorbidities? From what I seen, it was a guy, I think he was 80 or 90. I shared this on my story, but he was a full code. They saw his age. They decided they wanted to stop there. They didn't want to waste a ventilator on him. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
was a lady, she was found, her heart rate was in the 30s. Her heart rate was in the 20s when they called the code. She's a
Yeah.
full code. Why would you not do compressions and put her on the ventilator? So they picked and choose who
Yeah.
they wanted to. They didn't do everything they could for everybody, and it was so sad. And
Yeah.
I didn't see any white people coding. I'll be honest. I don't want to make it a race thing, but while I was there, I didn't see a white person code where, because I always say I want to see how they do their people. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
never got to see a white person code. Not saying that it didn't happen, but I did see successful ventilations too, but not always.
Yeah. And yeah, and I definitely feel like right now it is definitely survival of the fittest because even with opening the states back up, like there's no vaccine right now, and so what has really gotten better outside of um, people social distancing in certain areas, but once you say it's open back up, people are back to they're going 0 to 100. It ain't like they're going 0 to 20 or whatever. So how you feel about that part?
I think that it's some strategy in that, but people are so caught up on, I'm so depressed, I'm so tired of being in the house, I want to get my nails done, I want to be outside. That's ignorance to me, and this virus hasn't went away, and there's no cure now. I'm not gonna be going outside. I'm gonna be, when I go home, I'll be around my family. But I feel like that's a way to kill off more people who really don't care and don't think that it can happen to them. I seen young people die. You can't see it coming. You know what I'm saying? You know, you hear things, it's going to be a second wave. The summer, you know, it may pass because it's so hot and we don't know. You know, like I'm not in New York. So I'm sure there's still cases. You know, I was actually just talking to my friend Crystal there, and there's still cases. But like I said, New York is, you know, it's cooler in New York. That's all I will say. But don't be stupid. You know, you talking about you want to go to the club and you want to do this. If you catch COVID and die from it, you ain't
Yeah.
gonna be clubbing no more. That's all. I can't tell people what to do, but I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just trying to be real because I didn't believe it until I got to New York and seen people dropping like flies.
Yeah, and then and I even like the picture that you sent me, like and that was so real. You know, talking where you had your PPE on
Mm-hmm.
and wrote. So you want to talk about that?
To stay home so I can go home.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a message without speaking. You know, actually, I followed this one guy and I seen him do it, so I copied off of him.
yeah,
But it's a message without, you know, just a message without even having to say anything. Like, this is what we dealing with, and y'all so caught up on the BS and the people lives are taken, and y'all worried because the nail shop was taken or because the barber shop was taken or because you can't go to the club because you want to look cute. You think
yeah,
I want to be home with my family. You know, I miss my husband and my daughter that I haven't seen for weeks, and you want to be outside so you can be cute to put
yeah,
an outfit on. That's stupid to me.
yeah. And and so when is your next assignment, or have you figured that one out yet, or are you gonna be in?
Baby, I was gone away from my family. I'm finna chill, okay? I'm on vacation, okay? In quarantine, I'm on vacation. I don't know. I say I'm gonna take 1 to 2 months off because with what's going on, I thank God. With what's going on right now, I thank God I'm not at work because I would have had to snap on somebody because you know it's just that it's always that one person.
This says the
You
wrong.
gotta say something slick about the property or y'all. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I'm not a little quiet. You know, I would have to speak up on that because this
yeah,
stuff angers me. If you're not us, you don't know what we dealing with or how we feel. So just shut up.
yeah. Like I saw somebody post a message or something like that that was like, um, our skin wasn't a problem when we were taking care of y'all in the hospitals. It's,
I've had experienced some people. I've experienced racism while I was working as a nurse, and
uh,
I had to check people. And if you want a new nurse, that's fine. But I've experienced it before today. Actually,
yeah.
it's sad. But like I said, people just so ignorant. It's sad.
What did you tell them?
I you know, when they are rude or disrespectful, you know, is it a problem? You have to be verbal with people because if you don't, they'll think it's okay and they'll
Yeah,
keep doing it. And would you like a new nurse? Because I can surely get you another nurse. I won't tolerate disrespect because I'm
yeah,
not disrespecting you. Don't curse at me because I'm not cursing at you. You're gonna respect me while I'm taking care of you.
yeah.
And it's period. I don't care the age. That's not. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't disrespect nobody. But I'm gonna set. You have to set boundaries.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like, man, if I'm trying to get an IV and this is to help me, like, uh, I think I'm gonna have to work through that. Forget
Yeah.
because especially when people are overworked or sometimes in hospitals.
You curse these people out, man. Man.
Yeah. So another question: how was the flights? Because I know a lot of people are not flying right now because it's so because there's so much going on. So to just flying to New York and flying back, like, and then I was hearing about so many flight attendants and pilots catching the virus as well.
Mm. So flying to New York, I flew Southwest. It
Hmm.
was 4 people on the flight. It was lovely. Social distancing at its finest, you know. On the way back, and I I heard that United has been having it rough, you know, but United they getting their money right now, okay? Because it was a
Yeah.
packed house on the way back to
Yeah.
Dallas. It was packed from wall to wall, like every seat was filled, and I was just like, damn, I need my N95 mask on. I wish I had it, you know, and not
Yeah.
give it away.
Yeah,
And
a couple people that have been flying with this, and they were like, "Yeah, it's some people on the flights now." So, yeah, I got my other mask, uh,
yeah,
and I did a charity event with Pull Up Neighbor. They're charitable organization out of Cali, and so we donated about 2,500 to 3,000 masks over in the Redbird area
Uh-huh.
past Saturday, and so we're trying to do. They've been doing a lot of events in like Oakland and Compton and places in LA, but we're going to be
Hmm.
doing them more across the nation as well. And
That's
you know,
dope.
go to some of the cities, and I'm just kind of like, is it time? I don't know if it's time. I just
You need an N95 with them flights, because no,
real,
you don't know who has it. You know, some people can be asymptomatic, and
yeah,
you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know who's been doing what, if they've been social distancing, so you've been around that person, you
yeah.
know.
And like even with opening places back up with just taking the temperature, that kind of makes me nervous too because I'm like, okay, just because you didn't have a temp this 1 second when somebody took it, it doesn't mean you don't have it. It doesn't mean you didn't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's a precautionary measure, which is good, but people are hurting, businesses are hurting. You have to we can't just sit still forever. So that's the most basic thing you can do if your business is going to, open up. It's not saying that that's going to keep your business and people in it safe, but it's the most basic thing you can do.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to ask you about everything that's going on now with the tragic murders. So I know you from St. Louis. Have you heard about what's going on in St. Louis? Are they protesting? Is it crazy out there?
It's crazy. They are turning it up. Sadly, 4 police officers got killed either last night or this morning, and it's heartbreaking. They clowning. They are clowning in St. Louis. We had Michael Brown
Hmm.
in 2014, but they turn it up. We sick, we tired, we've been through this, but it breaks my heart to hear that people are getting killed, that even the police officers are getting killed, because that's not right. We shouldn't keep. We got to stop killing people.
Yeah, and then you know, how are you like taking in that information? Because I'm torn. Like I want to watch the news and I want to figure out what's going on, but then I'm like I don't want to consume too much of it because then it messes up your mental uh, as well.
Yeah, I haven't watched the news. Everything I've been getting is through social media on, so videos. Instagram is what I really is my number one social media thing. But after the first 2 days, my head was about to explode. It was too much. You want to be informed, but it's overwhelming. It really is, and the stuff that I'm seeing is literally unbelievable. Like,
Yeah,
it don't even seem real. Like, it reminds me of back in the day with the protests with Malcolm X and Rodney King. It's like this is really what we are dealing with right now in 2020.
yeah, and it's like it's more cameras, so now everything is
Hmm.
now you're seeing everything, which is crazy. It's like police is like still going crazy on people at a rally. Like now that don't make no sense.
They
Like
just feel like they're invincible, and that's crazy to me. I just don't understand it. And those police officers need to be fired. Their badge should be taken away.
yeah, and I'm hoping they eventually will go ahead and arrest the other three in the George Floyd situation, and I just hope that there's no more looting, like because black people we already limited on the things that we have anyway. So
Hmm.
and when you go and loot and the black owned businesses, it's like okay, can we at least figure out who owned what before
But
we?
it ain't even us. You got to think we being set up too,
Yeah,
by the white people,
yeah, I saw
because they
the.
know it's gonna be us. So they setting us up because, oh, it was them, and it ain't even us. And that's what's so jacked up. Y'all blame us for everything.
Because you were seeing like some police officers breaking out windows. You've been seeing people setting the bricks up, like setting us up for the okey doke.
And some people ain't got nothing to lose, and I feel both sides. I really do.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine being. I feel both sides. As
yeah,
like I said, I couldn't imagine being in a situation where I didn't have nothing to lose and the police fucked with me all the time, because I'm angry now. So to try to even imagine being put in that situation, they
yeah,
really don't give a F. You know what I'm saying? They really mad. I'm mad, but it's different levels, and then to hear people, to be out and seeing a police officer push you for just standing there or talking crazy to you, we
You're
fed
right.
up. We
Yeah.
fed up.
And then it's like, you know, I'm kind of, I understand it all because it's like, you know, different people have different situations. So some people are going to be on the front line and doing what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
We need a certain segment of people to making sure people voting. We need, you know, we need donations. There's so many different things that we need. We just
Right.
need to stand with it versus just everybody kind of going crazy. Because even like today with the blackout, it's like, okay, what are we blacking out? What are we really like? Can everybody kind of get on the same page?
Yeah.
Because it's like I done seen people talking about we shouldn't buy nothing today. The music industry is like we shouldn't do any. You know, the music industry shouldn't do any business. You shouldn't listen to certain stuff. Like it's too many different ones going on right now.
Too many rules. Okay, we got to hold one thing. Choose one thing and stick to it. Okay. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be heating up some noodles today if I don't find a black-owned restaurant in Dallas.
yeah. Let's see. Look like we got a question. What do you think a good solution to everything going on? How can we make our demands known? So on that, personally, I would say that we need to make sure that we are represented properly in local elections and things like that. I feel like we need to pay more attention to that as opposed to, um, of course, we have to pay attention to the presidential election as well, but we got to know who these local elected officials are and make our demands through them and hold them accountable. I like what Big Mike said about planning and strategizing and different things like that. Uh, how you feel about that? You want to answer that one?
Like you said, the not only the primary elections but the smaller elections in between are important. And I hear a lot of black people say, "Oh, well, my vote don't matter," and they gonna choose who they gonna choose. You won't know unless you actually try to make a difference. Like you have to. Like we didn't fight. The people before us didn't fight for this, for us to just sit on our asses and just wait for stuff to go bad, and then we try to show up. You got to show up before to try to be, um, what's the word for it? I can't even think, but try to get a hold of this, get a hand on it before it gets there.
Yeah,
And definitely, you got to pray, keep God first. You know what I'm saying?
you know.
Even when I can't find the words, I just try to pray and talk to God, and yeah, just stay safe.
Oh, and shout out to Tiffany Young on here. I'm gonna probably have her. Hopefully, she don't know it yet, but I'm probably have her back on the show tomorrow. Make your demands known by contacting your elected officials and voicing your concerns, and
Hmm.
stay engaged beyond the protests on the local and state level. So, um,
Thanks for
yeah.
that, Tiffany.
So she's somebody to follow if you want more information. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get you out of here. Look, I know you enjoying your vacation. Um, so when are you head to St. Louis? Huh?
I'm gonna leave either Thursday or Friday.
Okay. Well, safe travels. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you. And
Thank you.
all right. So be safe.
Thanks for having me, and it's great what you're doing. I love it. You take care. Be safe as well. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Bye bye.